In the Factor follow-up segment tonight, it looks like it could be turning into a two-man race already in the Republican presidential primary between Rick Perry and Mitt Romney. But Perry is way ahead right now, according to the latest polls. Politico has the race at 36% for Perry, 17% for Romney. The Wall Street Journal poll says it's 38 Perry, 23 Romney. In the latest Fox News polls, 26% are going for Perry, 18% for Romney. All other candidates, including Michelle Bachmann and Ron Paul, come in at 10 points or less in all of these polls. Let's bring in the best man to make sense of the polling, Fox News political analyst Karl Rove, who joins us from Austin. Okay, Karl, so everyone thought, well, I shouldn't say everyone, I thought, and some other people, that this was going to be Perry, Bachmann, and then the winner of that matchup was the person who ultimately took the fight to the more moderate Mitt Romney. Does this mean that Michelle Bachmann, with these polls this early, this far out, is kind of marginalized herself out of this race?
Well, she could be, but look, let's not call it over before it's over. We got a long way to go, September, October, November, December, January, and then we start voting in February. But you're right, and Rick Perry is now the front runner. As you said in the Fox poll, he leads 26 over Romney's 18, and everybody else is in single digits. But here's the cautionary note. Let's remember that in 2008, at exactly this time, the front runner was Rudy Giuliani with 30, followed by Fred Thompson at 27, John McCain at 14, Mitt Romney at 11, and Mike Huckabee, who turned into, as you recall, a pretty serious contender, below 10%. So, we're relatively early in these national polls, but Perry has gotten a good bump. He is now the front runner. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The question really is, what is happening in the individual states, particularly the early states, because people in Iowa, New Hampshire, and South Carolina, particularly the first two, have been paying more attention to these candidates, have seen them more, and have more firm opinions than do people in states like Oregon or Washington or Florida or Colorado or California who are only now starting to wake up to the process. And if you take a look at the individual state polls in Iowa, and this was run by a pro-Perry group, 24 Perry, 22 Bachmann, 19 Romney. I mean, that's clustered in there. And in a turnout state like this, it's up for grabs. In New Hampshire, 36 Romney, 18 Perry, Ron Paul at 14, and Bachmann below 10%. And in South Carolina, Perry at 31, Romney at 20,
that board up so
Bachmann
we can see
at 14.
Okay, there we go. I was going to say, we don't need a graphics department. Now we lose them. Okay, there we go.
There we
go. 14 Bachmann in South Carolina.
14 Bachmann. It says to me Bachmann is still in this thing, but she has got to focus her efforts on Iowa. What's interesting to me is the rumor is that she's got a very small war chest and that she's thinking about deploying it and trying to win the Florida straw poll. Well, the last straw poll to have an impact on the general election was the Iowa straw poll. What's going to happen now is if she wants to play beyond Iowa, she better play heavy in Iowa and hope that gives her a bump coming out of Iowa.
Okay, Karl, so many people will email into my radio show tomorrow if I don't ask you this question. What is it with you and Rick Perry? I mean, is this some old animosity? Is this some Texas thing? Is there something there? I mean, let's get it all out in the open because is it the old Bush crowd and Perry? They don't like each other? What is it?
You're asking the wrong guy. I mean, look, Rick Perry has been nothing but very kind to me, and look, I'm one of the two guys. I was one of the two guys that sat in a room in 1989 and convinced him to be a Republican and run for office, statewide office as a Republican. I handled his campaigns in 90 and 91. But you're asking the wrong crowd.
Ungrateful? Do you think he's ungrateful to President Bush?
No. Well, look, here's the deal. All I've seen between the two men is graciousness. But look, here's the Time magazine story. And in it, it quotes lots of Perry people. And it says Perry served as Bush lieutenant governor before succeeding him, but the two men have never been close. Well, I know that not to be true. They're very close. You saw it last Friday. They announced their national team, and somebody immediately leaked. They said, "Well, we've got a team that works closer than the Bush team did in 2000." Well, where did that come from?
Where's all the Bush money going to go? Where's all the Bush money going to go?
There were spatter stories a couple of weeks ago that said Bush never wanted Perry to win. Where did that come from? Bush moved heaven and earth to get him elected.
Yeah, well, but what about the money on the sidelines?
I'm saying you're asking the wrong guy about where this is coming from.
All right, but what about the Ranger money, the Bush Pioneer money? We have mutual friends. All friends of mine, Brad Freeman, all these other guys. They're big supporters of George W. Bush. Yeah. They're great people. A lot of people have the money on the sidelines, and Perry needs that money, does he not, to make a real run at Romney?
Well, he's getting a lot of the Bush money in Texas, not all of it. But look, he's got to go earn it. He's got to pick up the phone and call people. He's got to have his people call the Bush people. What I hear around the country is that some of the people got calls from Plenty, some of the Bush people got calls from Romney, some of them got calls from Bachmann. But, you know, Perry is just now into the race, and he needs to pick up the phone and start dialing those people, and he is. Last week he was over in Louisiana talking to some of the Bush people. He was in Dallas last week talking to some people who've been big supporters of Bush. It's, you know, look, he's just into the race, and we'll see how it pans out.
And Karl, one more.
But these people who are behind, who not Perry himself, but whoever talked to Mark Halperin in Time Magazine and said, well, they're not close, is not doing Perry any favors. I mean, Perry and Bush are good, close friends. Why is his staff intent upon doing this?
Karl, if you could have like 20 seconds with Mitt Romney and help him be a better campaigner, what's like the 20 seconds of advice you'd give him?
He needs to confront the Massachusetts health care issue and deal with Obama's claims that all he did was model it on Massachusetts.
Oh, let's see if he listens. Karl, thanks so much. Great to see you.